Researchers once set up two chimpanzees side by side, each trained to do the exact same simple task: hand over a small token in exchange for a reward. Nothing complicated. Do the task, get paid. Both chimps did the task perfectly, over and over, completely content. Then, researchers changed one thing. One chimp kept getting the same reward as before. The other chimp, doing the identical task, started getting a better one, something the first chimp could see and smell but wasn't getting. The first chimp noticed almost immediately. It didn't just accept the smaller reward anymore. It refused to do the task. It threw the token back at the researcher. In some versions of this experiment, it threw the reward itself back, food and all, visibly agitated, even though moments earlier that exact same reward had been perfectly acceptable to it. Some chimps shook the enclosure. Some just sat there, arms crossed, refusing to participate at all, as if the entire arrangement had suddenly become beneath them. If you're the kind of person who gets weirdly satisfied watching an animal refuse an unfair deal, hit like and subscribe, because Blorpin's got a lot more of this. Here's what makes this genuinely strange. The chimp wasn't upset about getting less. It had the same amount as before, and it was totally fine with that 5 minutes earlier. What changed wasn't the reward. What changed was the comparison. The moment it saw another individual doing identical work for a better outcome, the original deal it had happily accepted suddenly felt insulting. That's not simple greed. Greed wants more, regardless of what anyone else has. This was something else entirely. A reaction to unfairness itself, independent of whether the actual reward was still perfectly good. Here's the twist. You felt this exact feeling, probably more recently than you'd like to admit. Getting a raise feels great, right up until you find out a coworker doing the same job got a bigger one. Suddenly, the number that made you happy an hour ago feels like an insult. Nothing about your actual paycheck changed, only the comparison did. Psychologists call this inequity aversion, and it shows up remarkably early. Toddlers display it before they can even reliably talk, reacting badly to unequal treatment long before anyone teaches them the concept of fair. It's not a value humans invented and passed down through culture. It looks a lot more like hardware that came pre-installed, sitting underneath the vocabulary we later build on top of it. Researchers think this reaction evolved because in social species that depend on cooperation to survive, tolerating unfair treatment silently is genuinely dangerous. If you let others walk all over you for less, you signal that you can be exploited indefinitely. Getting visibly upset, even at a personal cost, protects your position in the group long term, even if it costs you the reward in the moment. Which means that chimp throwing its token back wasn't having a tantrum. It was defending its standing in a system it couldn't fully control, using the only tool it had available to it. We do the exact same thing in meetings, in relationships, in group chats about who paid for what, just with better vocabulary and worse follow-through, and a lot more passive-aggressive texting instead of throwing anything. Should Blorpin cover the pigeon that can outperform some humans on visual tests next? Or the vampire bat that shares blood meals with starving neighbors? Drop your vote in the comments. That's the Blorpin theory. Stay curious.